So, in previous sessions, we have seen about the meaning of the audit. So, we have discussed this definition in a much detailed manner. We have seen the meaning of each and every term. So, let me have a revision once again. So, let me just quickly read the definition, then we will proceed with the next concept. So, what is going to be the definition of audit? Audit is an independent examination of financial information of an entity, whether or not profit oriented, irrespective of its size and legal form, when such an examination is conducted with a view to express opinion thereon. This is going to be the definition of audit. In that, we have seen different terms. We have seen the meaning of financial information. What do you mean by independence? What do you mean by profit oriented or not? What do you mean by legal form, size, opinion? All these matters we have discussed. So now let us proceed with the next concept. Now, so in the previous session only, we have seen that what is the ultimate objective of the auditor? What is going to be the ultimate objective of the auditor? So, the ultimate objective of the auditor is to express an opinion that we have already seen. And the auditor can give any of the opinion. Either he can give a positive opinion or he could give a negative opinion. It depends upon his verification. It depends upon the status of the financial statements. Okay, so the auditor, the ultimate objective of the audit is to express an opinion, and the auditor has to express such opinion on two matters. The auditor, the ultimate objective of audit is to express an opinion, and that opinion should be expressed on two matters. What are the two matters? The auditor should express opinion on whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements, whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements, whether the financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework. So this is what we are going to discuss now. So ultimately, what is the ultimate objective of the opinion? To express an opinion, and he has to express an opinion on two matters. What are they? Whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements or not. And second objective is whether the financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework. Now we come across some more new terminology. Right? So first we have to understand that terminology in order to understand these objectives. So first of all, let us concentrate on our second aspect. First let us concentrate on our second objective. Then we will move with the first objective. So auditor is having two objectives. What is one of the objective? The auditor has to express opinion on whether the financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework. Whether the financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework. Now, what do you mean by this applicable financial reporting framework? What do you mean by this applicable financial reporting framework? So, auditor has to say whether the financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework or not. First of all, what do you mean by financial reporting framework or applicable financial reporting framework? First, if we understand, then we will be able to understand this objective. So let us spend some time on understanding what does this applicable financial reporting framework means. Okay. So we will spend some time on understanding this concept. Right. So now we are going to discuss about applicable financial reporting framework. Okay. First of all, what do you mean by framework? You might have heard about this term framework. You might have come across this term framework. What do you mean by framework? So in simple terms, framework means nothing but some procedure that you have to follow. I have to do something. I have to do according to that framework. For example, I want to write an examination. So how you have to attempt your examination, how you have to attempt your answers, there is some guidelines. Yes or no? Institute, when you are attempting for the examination, they will tell you some guidelines. They will tell you some rules and regulations which you are required to follow when answering. Yes or no? That guidance, that rules and regulations which is told, which you have to follow at the time of attempting examination, that is nothing but framework for examination. That is nothing but what? Framework for examination. Or simply, any framework means, a framework means rules and regulations. Framework means what? Rules and regulations. Rules and regulations to do something. I am telling there is a framework for doing something. So what does that framework means? Framework means nothing but some rules and regulations which you are required to follow when doing some act. You are doing something and you have to do that according to some rules and regulations, some guidance, some principles which we have to follow. That rules and regulations, that guidance, that principles, we call it as framework. Now, what do you mean by the term financial reporting? What do you mean by the term financial reporting? Financial reporting is nothing but the process of, financial reporting is nothing but process of preparation and presentation of financial statements. So, what do you mean by financial reporting? It is a process of preparation and presentation of financial statements. For example, you want to prepare some financial statements of any entity. How you will prepare? You have to follow some rules and regulations, right? You have to follow some policies. You have to follow some procedures. You have to follow some formats. So you have to undertake a process for the preparation of financial statements. First, you should record journal entries. From that, you should prepare ledgers. From that, you should prepare trial balance. From that, you should prepare the financial statements, which include balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement, whatever it could be. So this is the process which you are following for the preparation and presentation of the financial statements. This process of preparation and presentation of financial statements, this total process will be called as what? Financial reporting process. Financial reporting means what? The process of preparation and presentation of the financial statements. That process will be called as financial reporting. And framework means what? Some rules and regulations which we have to follow for doing something. Now, if we combine these two terms, we know the meaning of framework, we know the meaning of financial reporting. Then, what would be the meaning of financial reporting framework? Framework means rules and regulations. Financial reporting means a process for preparation and presentation of financial statements. Now, what do you mean by financial reporting framework? Nothing but the rules and regulations. The rules and regulations which has to be followed in the preparation, in the process of preparation and presentation of financial statements. What do you mean by financial reporting framework? Financial reporting framework means nothing but the rules and regulations which you are required to follow in the process of preparation and presentation of financial statements. We call such a process as financial reporting framework. See, if you want to prepare financial statements, you cannot prepare as you wish. There are some rules and regulations which you have to follow. For example, if you prepare company financial statements, the entity which is registered as a company, if you want to prepare financial statements of a company, you cannot prepare as you wish. You cannot follow your own format. There are some rules and regulations which you have to follow. Under Companies Act, there is Schedule 3. That Schedule 3 will tell you how the financial statement should be presented, what should be the format, what should be the disclosures. Everything is mentioned in Companies Act. There are accounting standards which tell you what you have to do when preparing the financial statements, right? So everybody, every management of the entity, whenever they are preparing financial statements, they have to follow such rules and regulations. Any company cannot say, I will follow my own rules and regulations. I will prepare my balance sheet as per my wish. You cannot say that. Everybody has to follow a set of rules and regulations in the preparation process of financial statements. That rules and regulations, we call it as financial reporting framework. Okay, I hope you understood about this financial reporting framework. This is a very basic discussion. This concept, you must have a clear understanding so that our further concepts discussion will be smooth. Okay. So please concentrate on this part. So I hope by now you have got an understanding of financial reporting framework. Sir, now what do you mean by this applicable financial reporting framework, sir? Okay, we understood financial reporting framework, the rules and regulations which are required to be followed in the process of preparation and presentation of financial statements. We call that as a financial reporting framework. Okay, agreed. What do you mean by applicable financial reporting framework? Applicable financial reporting framework means nothing but depending upon nature of the financial statements and purpose of the financial statements. Depending upon the purpose, nature of the financial statements, the management of the entity will select the rules and regulations which they have to follow in the preparation of financial statements. We call them as applicable financial reporting. Sir, we did not understand. We are confused. Okay, let me take a clear example. But before going into that, financial statements, who has to prepare? Financial statements of any entity, who has to prepare? Is auditor required to prepare? No. Financial statements of any entity are required to be prepared by management, not the auditor. Who will prepare financial statements? Management of the entity will prepare financial statements. For example, assume a company. Assume, for example, Reliance company only. Who will prepare financial statements of Reliance company? The management, nothing but board of directors or management is responsible for preparing the financial statements of Reliance company. You take example of Infosys. Who will prepare financial statements of Infosys? Nothing but the management. The management here in the sense board of directors. They will be responsible for preparation of the financial statements. Okay. So preparation of financial statements is a responsibility of management of the organization. Okay. Now, so assume it is a company. Assume there is a company. Assume, for example, Reliance only. Now, while preparing the financial statements of this Reliance company, the management of this Reliance company, depending upon the nature of the organization. So here, Reliance is a company. Okay. So depending upon the nature of the organization and purpose of the financial statements, management will select which rules and regulations they have to follow. So this Reliance company, they want to prepare financial statements. Entity is here a company, Reliance Industries Limited. It is a company registered under the Companies Act. Legal form is company. Now, whenever you are incorporated as a company, you should prepare financial statements as per Schedule 3 and accounting standards. Schedule 3 of Companies Act and accounting standards. Since Reliance being a company, the management, while preparing the financial statements, they have decided they are going to follow Schedule 3 of Companies Act and accounting standards in the preparation and presentation of financial statements. Who selected this framework? Management only selected. On what basis? On the basis of nature of the entity. On the basis of the nature of the entity and objective of the financial statements, who will adopt? Management only will adopt which rules and regulations they have to follow. Whatever management have adopted, that rules and regulations, that framework, we call it as applicable financial reporting framework. So for a company, depending upon the nature of the entity, the applicable financial reporting framework will be Schedule 3 and accounting standards. The company, every company's management should prepare their financial statements as per Schedule 3 and accounting standards. So this Schedule 3 and accounting standards will be called as applicable financial reporting framework for a company. Now, take for example, there is a banking company. You are appointed as a auditor of a bank, or you want to do take some banking company like Axis Bank, SBI, whatever. So this banking company, the management of any banking company, while preparing the financial statements, since it is a banking company, so I will write the example also, take for SBI, Axis, ICICI, whatever. Okay, since it is a banking company, the management, depending upon the nature of the entity, they will select rules and regulations. For banks, the applicable financial reporting framework will be Banking Regulation Act. Banking Regulation Act. So the management of any bank shall prepare financial statements, since it is a banking company, as per Banking Regulation Act. Okay. So Banking Regulation Act is the applicable financial reporting framework for banking companies. Like Schedule 3 and accounting standards, it will be called as applicable financial reporting for a company, normal company. Similarly, this Banking Regulation Act will be the applicable financial reporting framework for banks. If you take a insurance company, if you take some insurance company, for insurance companies, since it is an insurance company, the management will select Insurance Regulatory and Development Act recommendations or Insurance Act. There is an Insurance Act. You might have come across this. Okay. So, how the financial statements of an insurance company are to be prepared, it is mentioned under Insurance Act. Okay. So, you have to follow Insurance and IRDA regulations. Insurance Regulatory and Development Act regulations you have to follow when preparing financial statements of an insurance company. So, Insurance Act will be applicable financial reporting framework for insurance companies. If it is an electricity company, for electricity companies, there is a separate act, Electricity Act. There, the format of the financial statements and rules and regulations relating to the financial statements of electricity companies are specified. So, Electricity Act will be applicable financial reporting framework for electricity companies. So, depending upon the nature of the entity and objective of the financial statements, management, important, management will adopt, not auditor. The responsibility for the preparation of financial statements is with the management. So, the management will study what is their organization, what rules are applicable for them, and accordingly they will select the rules and regulations which they have to follow in the preparation of financial statements, and whatever framework that they have selected for the preparation of financial statements, that framework we call it as applicable financial reporting framework. So, examples are Schedule 3 and accounting standards are applicable financial reporting framework for a normal company. Banking Regulation Act, it is a applicable financial reporting framework for a banking company. Insurance Act, it is a applicable financial reporting framework for insurance companies. Electricity Act, it is a applicable financial reporting framework for electricity companies. So, like this, depending upon the nature of the entity, management will choose which rules and regulations they have to follow in the preparation and presentation of financial statements. We call them as applicable financial reporting framework. Okay. So, I hope by this you are able to understand what do you mean by applicable financial reporting framework. Simply, in simple words, the rules and regulations which are required to be followed in the preparation and presentation of the financial statements, we call them as what? Applicable financial reporting framework. Okay. Now, let us spend some time on discussing about what are the types of framework. What are the different types of framework? This financial reporting framework, we are having different types of this financial reporting framework. Let us spend some time on understanding what are the different types of framework that are available. Okay. So, we will be discussing now about what are the different types of financial reporting framework. First of all, first, on the basis of purpose. On the basis of purpose of financial statements. See, generally financial statements have some purposes. So, on the basis of that purpose, financial statements will be broadly categorized into two types. Depending upon purpose, the purpose which they are serving, the financial statements will be broadly categorized into two types. General purpose financial statements, special purpose financial statements. Depending upon the purpose of the financial statements are broadly classified into two categories, general purpose and special purpose financial statements. Let us see how these terms special purpose and general purpose financial statements are defined. I will explain it in a detailed manner, but let us try to note down the definition. By that we will be able to understand. Okay. So, general purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose framework. What is that? General purpose framework. The financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose framework, we call them as general purpose financial statements. Then what would be the definition of special purpose financial statements? Very simple, right? Since the definition of general purpose financial statements is the financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose framework. Now, what could be the definition of special purpose financial statements? Very simple. Which are prepared as per special purpose framework. Simple definition. General purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose framework. Special purpose financial statements are prepared, special purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared as per special purpose framework. Now sir, what do you mean by this general purpose framework? What do you mean by this special purpose framework? If you tell that, then only we will understand. No. They have told you simply, general purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose framework. Now, what do you mean by general purpose framework? Okay, what do you mean by special purpose framework? If you are able to understand what is this general purpose framework and special purpose framework, then we will be able to understand what is this general purpose financial statements, what is this special purpose financial statements. Okay, so for general purpose framework, there is also separate definition. Let us write the definition first, then we will analyze. General purpose framework refers to that framework, general purpose refers to that framework which satisfies information needs of various users of financial statements. What is that? How the term general purpose framework was defined? It refers to that framework where the financial statements which are prepared as per that framework will satisfy information needs of various users. If you follow single set of rules and regulations, that set of rules and regulations will satisfy information needs of different users. If you prepare single set of financial statements, that is going to meet information needs of all users. Such a kind of framework, such a kind of rules and regulations which is satisfy information needs of different users of the financial statements, we call them as general purpose framework. That means a single set of financial statements will be sufficient to satisfy information needs of different users. Okay, but before that, who are these different users? You will get an understanding once I discuss the entire concept, but just as of now, get familiar with these definitions. Once I complete the entire discussion, you will get a clarity. As of now, just be familiar with the definitions. So, general purpose framework refers to that framework which meets information needs of different users of financial statements. That is how it was defined. First of all, who are various users of financial statements? First, we should understand that, right? Who are various users of financial statements? You can guess who could be users of financial statements. Let us try to understand that first. Who are various users of financial statements? So you can guess. So who could be users? Why we prepare financial statements? See, the main user of the financial statement will be shareholders or members, whatever you take. The main user of the financial statements will be shareholders or the members. Sir, why sir? See, why? Because, for example, today some Reliance share price is 2000 rupees. I am having some 2 lakh rupees. I want to invest my money in the Reliance share. I want to invest my 2 lakh rupees, some 100 shares. I want to purchase Reliance company shares and I want to invest my money in Reliance company. Okay. So I have 2 lakh rupees. I opened a Demat account. I bought some 2000 shares. I bought some 100 shares of Reliance company in my Demat account. I got 100 shares of Reliance. Why will I invest my company? Why will I invest my money anywhere? If I am having my money, why I will invest? Why? Because if I keep my idle money with me, it is not going to give me any benefit, right? If I have 2 lakh rupees, if I keep my 2 lakh rupees only with me, no benefit. That 2 lakhs will remain as 2 lakhs only. If I go and invest somewhere, I can earn interest, dividend or some appreciation I could earn. Yes or no? For example, I take my 2 lakh rupees and deposit in FD. I will get a interest rate of some 7%, 7.5% on an annually on an average, right? So like that, why I will invest my money? I want to grow my money. I want to make more money on my money. Okay. So with that intention only, I will also invest my money in the share market, right? Why I invested my money in the Reliance company? Why? Because I want my 2 lakhs to grow. That may be 2 lakh 10,000, 2 lakh 20,000. If times are good, if luck permits, if I did a good analysis, my 2 lakh money can become 4 lakh rupees also. Anything could happen. Yes or no? So any person who makes any investment expects a return. So like that only, if I invest my 2 lakh rupees in a Reliance company, I would expect the Reliance company to perform better. If the company performs better, my share price will increase. So I invested at 2000 rupees per share. I bought 100 shares. So the company did a very good performance. Now the share price of the company will also get increased from 2000 rupees to some 2100 rupees. Assumption, I bought at 2000, after 1 year, the share price was 2100. On one share, I am making 100 rupees profit. I bought 100 shares, I will be making 10,000 rupees profit. So with that assumption only, people will make investment. So I invested my money in the company. Will I be permitted every day in the company and allowed access to the books? Will I be consulted before every decision? If the Reliance company wants to make some decision, if they want to make some business, if they want to buy some goods, if they want to invest in some other companies, will they come and consult me? Because I have invested 2 lakhs, I am a member? No. Generally we say shareholders as owners of the company. Can I say, see, I bought 2 lakh, I bought 100 shares in the company, I am also one of the owner, whatever decision you take, you come to me and ask my opinion. Can I say like that? There are some crores of shareholders here. How can I get an opinion of all the 1 crore shareholder? You are not the only one shareholder, right? So Reliance company is having some lakhs and crores of shareholders. Even if you buy a single share, you will become a shareholder. You will be a part owner. Even if you have 2000 rupees and buy a single share, you will also be a owner. But that doesn't mean that before every decision is taken, the company management will come and approach each and every shareholder. No, it will not happen. Sir, but I invested in my company. I want to know the performance of the company, sir. I invested my money in the company in anticipation of better results. So I want to know whether the company is making profits or not, whether the company is getting good businesses or not. Will the share price increase or not? I want to know. How can I know? I will not be called, I will not be allowed every day inside the company. How can I know, sir? The only source which is available to you as a shareholder to know about the company performance, to know about company profitability, to know about how the company is performing, the only source which is available to shareholder for the purpose of knowing profitability or performance of the company is financial statements. Is what? Financial statements. So company management every year they will prepare a financial statements. On the basis of that financial statements, now you can know whether the company has made a profit or loss, whether the assets are increasing or decreasing, whether the liabilities are decreasing or increasing, it is having positive cash flows or negative cash flows. All this information, the only source of information, the only source for this information is financial statements only. Okay. So shareholders are the main users of the financial statements. They use a lot. They use these financial statements for knowing about profitability, performance, whatever, growth of the company. Now, who are other users? Company's management will be the users of the financial statements. Why the company management will want the financial statements, sir? They also want to make decisions, right? They also want to make decisions. For example, they want to increase their business. When they will increase business? Only when they are having profits. If they are having profits, then they will expand their business. How they will come to know whether they have got the profits or not? If you read the financial statements, you will understand. Right? So management also is one of the user of financial statements. For what purpose they are going to use the financial statements, sir? For the purpose of decision making. Management also will use the financial statements for the purpose of decision, whether we should expand or not. Should we cut down any product? Should we introduce new product? Is there any requirement of a loan? So all these requirements, all these decisions will be taken by the management on the basis of the financial statements. So management is also one of the user. Who else will use? Who else will use? Lenders, bankers, yes or no? For example, we want a loan. If you go to the bank, for example, some company wants a loan. Some company wants a loan. If they go to the banker, sir, we want a loan, sir. We want some 10 crores of loan. Will the banker, just looking at the face of the directors, will they disperse? Will they distribute that 10 crores? Will they allow that credit of 10 crores just by looking at the directors? No, obviously not. What they will ask? Sir, you please give me the financial statements. Banker will ask, sir, you please give me your financial statements. I will read your financial statements. From some last 2-3 years financial statements I will read. I will refer your balance sheet. I will see what assets you are having. I will refer your statement of P&L. I will see from the last 3 years you are making profit or losses. If you are making profit, how much profit you are making? So all that information the banker will get to know from the financial statements. So the banker will ask for financial statements. He will see whether you will be able to repay the loan or not. If the banker gives you a loan, whether you will be able to repay it or not, the banker will come to know from going through the financial statements only, right? Okay. So the lenders or bankers also will use the financial statements to know your repaying capability. If they give you a loan, whether you will be able to repay it or not, that banker will come to know on the basis of the financial statements. Okay, so bankers and lenders are one of the users. Who else? Who else? Creditors. Our trade receivables, trade payables, creditors, the persons to whom we are required to pay. For example, we are having some supplier. We went to the supplier and asked for a 60 days credit. Sir, you sell us the goods. We will not be able to pay immediately. Rotation should happen. So you give us 30 days or 60 days credit period. This actually happens in the industry. So every business will follow at least 30 days of credit period. So I am a new customer. I am approaching some new supplier. I want to buy goods from him and I want him to give a credit period. Now also he will ask financial statements, no? Because he wants to know if he sells the goods to you on credit basis, whether you will be able to repay it or not, whether you are credit worthy or not, whether he can trust you or not. That how the supplier will get to know. If he goes through the financial statements, he will come to know whether you will be able to repay his credit or not. Okay, so the creditors or suppliers is also one of the users of the financial statements. Why they use financial statements? To know about your credit worthiness, whether it is worth giving credit for you or not. To know that credit worthiness, creditors or suppliers will need the information. Who else? Our customers, debtors or customers. Our customers also will want financial statements. Will also use financial statements. Sir, for what purpose, sir? Why customers will use the financial statements? So, for example, I have started a business. So, I am selling some steel related item. I am selling steel. I am having company X Limited. So, my business is I am extracting steel ore and converting it into industrial steel and selling it. So, I am engaged in the steel business. Now, a customer is coming to me. He wants to enter into a 2-year contract with me. The customer wants to enter into a 2-year contract with me. For 2 years, he wants to purchase steel from me. So, what will happen? For example, he entered into a contract. 2 years, I have to supply him steel. After 6 months, my business was bad. I was about to close my business. 6 months, after entering into contract, 6 months I continued the business. After 6 months, I am having a huge liabilities. I closed down my business. So, now what will happen to my customer? He has to search for another supplier, right? Since I am closing my business of steel, he has, for the purpose of his raw material steel, he wants to approach some other supplier. That will take some time. It will not happen immediately. Yes or no? So 6 months he bought from me, no problem. After 6 months I close my business. Now my customer has to go to some other steel supplier to purchase the steel. The other supplier may not be willing, or there may be negotiation. Negotiations may happen for a month. Now, what about the raw material requirement of my customer for that 1 month? His production will be affected or not? Because of my closing of the business, not only I am affected, even my customer's business also will be affected. Why? Because he has to choose some alternative supplier, he has to negotiate, he has to enter into contracts, it will take some time. So, during that time, his production will get halted. Okay, able to understand? So, customers also, before entering into long-term contracts with you, they want to know your future viability. Whether you will be able to continue your business in the future or not. That customers also will want to know before entering into long-term contracts with you. How the customers will know, sir? How the customers will come to know my future viability? By going through your financial statements. If the customer goes through your financial statements, he will come to know about your future viability. So, customer is also one of the user of the financial statements. For what purpose customer will use? For knowing about future viability before entering into long-term contracts. Who else? Government. Government is one of the user of the financial statements. Sir, why government will use financial statements, sir? To know whether you are paying correct tax or not. You are required to pay GST. You are required to pay income tax. Whether you are making the payment of these taxes correctly or you are avoiding taxes. How the government will come to know? How these tax authorities will come to know? By going through your financial statements. Okay. So, government is also one of the user of financial statements, and government will use these financial statements to know about your tax payments and social objectives. Okay. Next, who else, sir? Employees. Employees also will use financial statements. Why employees will use, sir? To know whether they are paying, whether they are getting correct bonus or not. The company is not paying bonus. When an employee asks, sir, why you are not paying us bonus? The company is telling we are having no profits. That's why we are not paying bonus. When the employees open the financial statements and read, they are actually making a profit. So even when compared to the last year, current year profit was higher. But when employees are asking for bonus, company is telling, no, we are not having profits, that's why we are not paying bonus. So like that, whether the company is paying correctly bonus to them or not, whether they are having a job security or not, to know about the job security, to know about the correct settlement of bonus, the employees can use the financial statements also. Employees is also one of the user of financial statements, and they will use them for what purpose? To know about the bonus claims and also job security. Who else, sir? Research analyst or research scholars. See, if you are a listed company, no, if you are listed in any of the stock exchange, there will be some investment analyst. Some persons will be there who will keep a continuous track of your company. They will follow every news, every day, whatever news comes regarding you. They will follow your share price. They will follow your financial results. They will follow your announcements, dividend payments. There will be some analyst. We call them research analyst or research scholars. Right? For example, for Reliance company, there will be some research analyst. For Infosys company, there will be some analyst. So like that, some analyst will keep a track of you companies. They study some last 10 years financial statements. They study some last year's profit trends. They study how much dividends you are paying, what is your performance, what new contracts you are entering, what is the share price movement. Everything will be studied by some research scholars. They will read all this information and prepare reports on this company. Which company is good for investment, which company is bad for investment, which company will grow in the future, which company will fail in the future. Like that, some research scholars will prepare the reports. These research scholars also will use financial statements. These research scholars also will use financial statements. Okay. So these are all different users of the financial statements. There are shareholders, management, lenders or bankers, creditors, customers, suppliers, government, employees, and even research scholars. All these are different users of the financial statements. Now, will I prepare separate financial statements for each of the user, or will I prepare a single financial statement and it will satisfy all persons' needs? Will I prepare separate financial statements for shareholder? Will I prepare separate financial statements for management? No, right? I will not prepare different financial statements for different users. I will prepare single financial statements using Schedule 3 and accounting standards. Sufficient. If I prepare a single set of financial statements using Schedule 3 and accounting standards, everybody will accept or not? Shareholders will accept, management will accept, lenders also will accept, creditors will accept, customers will accept, everybody will accept. So the financial statements which I followed according to the framework of Schedule 3 and accounting standards, it is going to meet information needs of all these users. I need not prepare separate financial statements for shareholders, for management different set, for lenders other rules and regulations, not required. If I follow single set of rules, that is Schedule 3 and accounting standards, if I follow, all these users will accept such financial statements, no? So, since this Schedule 3 and accounting standards, since this framework is satisfying information needs of all users of financial statements, can I call this Schedule 3 and accounting standards as general purpose framework? Yes, you can call it. These Schedule 3 and accounting standards, this framework is able to satisfy information needs of various users of the financial statements. Okay, so this we call it as general purpose framework. And the financial statements which are prepared using this general purpose framework, the financial statements which are prepared using this Schedule 3 and accounting standards, this we call it as general purpose financial statements. This we call it as what? General purpose financial statements. So now if you read, so general purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose framework, and general purpose framework refers to that framework which satisfies information needs of various users of the financial statements. A single set of rules and regulations is going to satisfy information needs of different users of the financial statements. Such a framework, I call it as general purpose framework. Right. So, general purpose framework satisfies information needs of different users, right? So, if a framework has to satisfy information needs of different users, it should have some characteristics. See, when something has to be accepted by so many people, it should have some characteristics, right? Everybody will expect something from it. Then only if it meets everybody's expectations, then only it will be acceptable among all the people. Like that only, since if the general purpose framework has to be accepted by all users, we are saying general purpose framework is such a framework, it will be accepted. Why all the users are accepting it? Why? Because it is having some characteristics. It is having some characteristics. General purpose framework is accepted by different users because it is having some characteristics. Because of that characteristics, all the users are accepting it. What are the characteristics of general purpose framework because of which different users are accepting? So what is that? Let us try to understand. So what are the characteristics of general purpose framework? So the characteristics of the general purpose framework are: it follows fundamental accounting assumptions. General purpose financial statements, general purpose framework follows fundamental accounting assumptions. What are fundamental accounting assumptions? It follows going concern, it follows accrual, it follows consistency. So general purpose framework, these are the expectations of all the users, right? So every user will expect the financial statements to be on going concern basis. Every user expects the financial statements to be on going accrual basis. Every user expects the financial statements should be on consistency basis. So that's why the general purpose framework will always follow fundamental accounting assumptions. The financial statements, which are general purpose financial statements, they will always follow what? Fundamental accounting assumptions like going concern, accrual, consistency. The financial statements which are prepared as per general purpose framework, they follow these fundamental accounting assumptions. And also general purpose framework complies with GAAPs, generally accepted accounting principles. They follow generally accepted accounting principles also. And also general purpose framework follows accounting standards. General purpose frameworks also follow what? Accounting standards. And general purpose financial statements are prepared periodically. They will not be prepared for uneven periods. When the company financial statements will be prepared once in every year, right? They will be prepared for a period from April 1st to 31st March of next year. For that period only financial statements will be prepared. Will you prepare financial statements from February to January? No, all the users will not accept. Yes or no? In India, if the financial statements has to be accepted, we have to follow financial year. What is that financial year? In India, the financial year starts from 1st April and ends on 31st March of next year. So if you prepare financial statements for that period only, then only all the users will accept, or else everyone will not accept. Okay. So general purpose financial statements will be prepared periodically. In India, that periodicity is annually. In India, that periodicity is annually, and that too 1st April to 31st of March. The financial statements will be prepared for this period only. They will be prepared once in a year. They will be prepared for this duration. Since they follow these characteristics, they are prepared as per fundamental accounting assumptions. They will be prepared as per generally accepted accounting principles. Okay. They will be prepared as per accounting standards. They will be prepared periodically. So these are the characteristics of general purpose framework. Since this general purpose framework is having these characteristics, that's why it is widely accepted. Able to understand? So this is regarding general purpose framework. The framework which satisfies information needs of various users. We have seen who are the various users of the financial statements, and we have also seen what are the characteristics of this general purpose framework. Now, what do you mean by this special purpose framework, sir? Here also we can derive the definition easily. So what is the definition of general purpose framework? The framework which satisfies information needs of various users, right? Then what could be the definition of special purpose framework? The special purpose framework definition is the framework which satisfies information needs of only specific user of financial statements. The framework which satisfies information needs of only one specific user. It will not be accepted by all the users for the purpose of information needs of a single person or a specific person. If we are following some rules and regulations, then we call such a framework as special purpose framework. We are confused, sir. Don't worry. I will make it clear with the help of an example. Okay. Right. So let us discuss an example for special purpose framework. Once we discuss that example, the concept will be very much clear. Okay. Now, so let me explain it. Yes. So take for example, there is a company. This company went to bank for the purpose of loan. They went to SBI branch. They went to the bank for the purpose of loan. They consulted manager of the bank. This company management went to the SBI branch. They went to manager and asked, sir, we are so and so company. We do so and so business. We will do some business. They have explained their business and they told, sir, we want a loan of some 100 crore rupees, sir. Bigger company having very good business. They approached a manager and they asked, sir, we are doing this business. We want a loan of 100 crores from you. And they have given last 3 years financial statements also, general purpose financial statements, schedule 3 and accounting standards, which are prepared as per schedule 3 and accounting standards. Those financial statements for the last 3 years, they have given to the banker. They have given to the manager. Now the manager said, okay sir, I am very much impressed. So whatever financial statements you have given for the last 3 years, which are prepared as per schedule 3 and accounting standards, okay, that I will keep it for my reference. That I will keep it okay. Whatever financial statements that you have given me for the last 3 years, which are prepared as per Ind AS, which are prepared as per schedule 3 and accounting standards, that is general purpose financial statements. Okay sir, I will accept. I will keep it for my reference. But I want financial statements on cash basis. If I want to give you a loan, please submit me financial statements not on accrual basis. You submit me the financial statements on cash basis. Then only I will give you the loan. The banker is asking. There is a logic also. Why the banker is asking for only cash basis of financial statements? The banker is asking this because there is a logic for that. For example, whatever financial statements that you have prepared, general purpose financial statements, will they be prepared on accrual or cash basis? They will be prepared on accrual basis, right? Since they follow fundamental accounting assumptions, the general purpose financial statements will be prepared on the basis of accrual, right? So, according to that financial statements, which are already given, in that financial statements, last year, I am having a profit of some 20 crores. I am having a profit of 20 crores. Now tell me, whatever this 20 crores profit is there in the last year's financial statements, which are prepared as per accrual, is there a guarantee that the company has actually realized this 20 crores in cash? Let me repeat my question. So whatever the financial statements the company has submitted, which are prepared as per general purpose framework, which follow accrual, in that financial statements, the profit is 20 crore. Does that mean, does 20 crore profit in the financial statements, does it indicate the company has actually realized this 20 crores profit in cash? Maybe, may not be. No guarantee, right? Why? Why? Because accrual means what? We will not wait to recognize the revenue till it is received. Once it is accrued, we will recognize, no? Yes or no? Same with the expenses. We will not recognize expense when it is paid. When it is accrued, we will recognize expenses. For example, March month rent still we are not yet paid. We will pay it in April. But still we will recognize expense, no? We will create it as an outstanding liability. Why? Because it is already accrued. You need not pay, agreed. But still expense will come, no? Since the incomes and expenses are recognized on accrual basis, this 20 crores profit may be realized in cash, may not be realized in cash. We may have received actually less, we may have received more also, but may not be exactly 20 crores, we may not have received in physical cash. Banker is not interested in your accrued profit. Banker is interested in your real profit, what you have actually realized in cash. Why? Because when you have accrued profit, if you have actually, the profit actually received in cash was 10 crores only. But accrued profit will be 20 crores. Accrued profit will be shown as 20 crores. No problem. Okay. But realized profit is 10 crores only. As to the banker, you cannot pay accrued profits. You can pay only profits which are realized in cash. No. To the banker, you have to pay actual money. You cannot say, sir, I am having 20 crores accrued profit, take it. No, you cannot say that. The banker will accept cash. You have to repay the banker in cash. Yes or no? So you cannot simply say, sir, 20 crores is my accrued profit. I will be able to repay 20 crores. No. Boss, it is your accrued profit. What profit you have actually realized is different from this accrued profit. So banker will be interested to know about the profits, not which are accrued, but which are actually received. Why? Because the banker wants to know your repaying capability. The banker wants to know about your cash profit. Your cash profit will determine your repayability. If you are having accrued profit of 20 crores, that doesn't mean you will be able to pay 20 crores. You should have realized in cash, right? So banker is interested only in cash profit. Sir, you gave me financial statements, general purpose financial statements, accrual basis. Okay, I will keep it for my reference. But for the purpose of giving you the loan, I don't want these accrual financial statements. I want financial statements which are prepared on cash basis. I want financial statements which are prepared purely on cash basis. Recognize only those incomes which are received in cash. Recognize only those expenses which you have actually paid in cash. By that, whatever profit you get, that is the actual profit that you have actually realized in cash. I want to know about that profit, sir. Then only I will give you the loan. Okay. Now, if the manager has to give a loan, management has to prepare financial statements on cash basis. Okay. Management has to prepare financial statements on cash basis. No, if they don't prepare financial statements on cash basis, banker will not give you a loan. So, management has prepared financial statements on cash basis as per the requirements of a banker. Now, if you take these financial statements which are prepared on cash basis and give it to shareholder, will he accept? No. Shareholder, what he wants financial statements on accrual basis. He will not accept cash basis. If you go and give it to a customer, will he accept? No. If you go and give it to a manager, will he accept this cash basis financial statements? No. If you go and give it to a government, he will not accept. If you go and give it to the employees, they will not accept. You are preparing this cash flow financial statements purely for the purpose of information needs of a banker only. No one else will accept this cash basis of financial statements. So here you are following some framework. You are following cash basis of rules and regulations. For what purpose? To meet information needs of only that specific user who is a banker. Other than banker, no one will accept these financial statements. So here we followed a framework of cash basis to meet the information needs of a specific user. Since it is meeting only the information needs of a specific user, we call here this cash basis of financial statements as special purpose financial statements. Other than banker, no one will accept it. It is not accepted. We are preparing cash flow basis of financial statements only for the purpose of getting loan, only for the purpose of meeting information needs of a banker only. So, I say these financial statements which are prepared on cash basis as special purpose financial statements, and the rules and regulations, this cash basis which I have followed, this rules and regulation which I have followed, it is meeting information needs of specific user banker only. So, I call this rules and regulation as special purpose framework. I call this as what? Special purpose framework. So, on the basis of the purpose, the financial statements are divided into two categories: general purpose financial statements and special purpose financial statements. General purpose financial statements are prepared as per general purpose framework. Special purpose financial statements are prepared as per special purpose framework. General purpose framework refers to that framework which meets information needs of a various users. Special purpose framework refers to that framework which meets information needs of a specific user only, not all the users. Okay, so on the basis of purpose of the financial statements, we have discussed two frameworks which are general purpose framework, special purpose framework. There are two more types of framework. There are two more types of framework which we will discuss next.